Welcome to Spin That Back. This is Rick.
America.
This is our spoiler review for Deadpool, written by Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick and directed by Tim Miller. So we're just going to jump into what we liked about the movie and our thoughts overall.
Yeah, the opening credits were the shit. Right from the beginning, you already know what the movie's gonna be like, and it jumps right in. I mean, he starts talking shit, making fun of other people. He references Ryan Reynolds in some parts in the movie.
Well, yeah, because it doesn't have any names in the opening credits.
And it's really cool just because of a lot of the things that they've done in this movie. These are things that we've never seen before.
The whole freeway chase was part of that leaked footage that came out
From
like
Comic-Con?
right around Comic-Con. That
Yeah.
was like a couple years ago, I think it was.
I think so, yeah.
Almost probably. And you see them incorporated into the movie, and it jumps right into it from the beginning.
I wasn't really never too huge into the comic books, but I mean, from what I know, this version that we got that's basically how the character is in the comic books. There's a lot of really over the top action. He gets shot in the asshole. He cuts his own hand off. This feels more like a comic book than most other comic book movies do. Like it just feels like way over the top, super like violent, bloody. There's rumors that they are gonna tie his shit into the fucking X-Men universe somehow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously we got Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Yeah. Jumping ahead, I guess even at the end of the movie, once they have like the post-credit thing, like he even mentions that Cable. And actually, there had been a rumor that I'd been hearing that Cable was gonna somehow get introduced.
The movie's a love story,
which is kind of weird because you wouldn't think like just a movie that's so over the top violent and just like really crass and raunchy. Like you wouldn't think they could fit a love story into it, but it actually manages to work. Good balance of like the comedy with the violence and the love story, and I think that was what really works well in the movie.
It's like that one little segment when he meets that fucking creepy looking bastard,
like a child molester.
Yeah, that shit was pretty funny.
I forgot his name.
I thought that worked really well because they didn't really overdo it. It was just like that one little scene, where he kind of starts fucking around with him. The comedic timing in it was done really well. I really like how they animated the eyes too, like on the suit. You see his expressions.
Actually, just the suit in general, I thought looked really good.
Oh yeah, the suit was the
shit. It looks exactly like Deadpool's suit in the comics.
Yeah.
And usually like they'll change a lot of it from the comic to the movie, and this was actually like really faithful to the one we see in the comic book. What I liked is that they didn't try to make sort of like the traditional comic book movie into an R-rated movie. I mean, taking the Deadpool character, like if you know him at all, the movie wouldn't have worked if somehow they would have tried to made it PG-13. Like it just wouldn't have worked on the same level. I guess now that's a bad thing because I think now they're even saying that the next Wolverine movie is already gonna be
rated R.
It's already gonna be
really?
It's gonna be R-rated.
This movie just feels so different than all the other like X-Men films. If it were to somehow tie into it, they can do it if they do it the right way. But it's just kind of weird, for them to all of a sudden go out and say, "Oh, well, we're gonna go and make an R-rated like Wolverine or X-Men movie." Like this shit's just kind of weird. And Deadpool's his own character, and I think the best part was that Ryan Reynolds. You can tell he really, really wanted to play this part.
I like Ryan Reynolds. He's been in a lot of movies.
He was in Buried.
Buried is really underrated. If you guys haven't seen that, that's a really good movie.
And he was in Waiting.
And I mean, he's pretty much playing the same character he played in Waiting and Van Wilder.
You get an actor that's really passionate about what he's working on.
Yeah.
And I mean, even with like all the marketing, all him like promoting the film everywhere, coming out like he comes out as Deadpool.
Yeah.
And a lot of these things before the movie was even released, like. This is what you want from an actor, like he was really excited to play it. Now that it did do well, like that's gonna push studios into a different mindset. Maybe we can market these movies and we can if we do it correctly, we can sell these movies. A lot of these superhero movies are all kind of just being really, they feel really repetitive. But something like this that's really different, at least the way that it's presented, with that R rating, super like violent, deaths or kills, but at the same time, like it's not throwing it in your face. Like, they don't overdo it, whereas there's movies like fucking Hostel where they're just super gory and shit like that, and this one doesn't do that. Even though it is really violent, it doesn't throw it in your face like that.
I thought Ed Skrein as Ajax was actually pretty good, because I know that's kind of been the problem, coming up with a really good villain.
Yeah.
And I actually thought he was pretty decent.
And then when he kills him at the end, that shit was funny. When Colossus comes in and he starts telling him like, "Oh, a hero is this."
Oh, that's right.
And then right in the middle, he fucking shoots him in the head.
But you knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah, you knew that shit was gonna happen.
You knew once Colossus kind of started giving him that whole speech, that was gonna be the joke. You seeing Colossus vomit, I think, kind of added like that little bit extra to the joke, and I thought it was a really good payoff.
Yeah, this shit was funny. One of the worst parts of the movie was Gina Carano. She was like fucking just.
Yeah, she's like too damn wooden.
The fight scene with her and Colossus was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty
like
cool.
That whole fight was pretty sick, but like her dialogue was just fucking. Like she hardly had any dialogue. I'm sure they cut out a bunch of the shit. It's just bad.
Yeah.
Like she's not a fucking actress.
That whole last fight scene at the end, I thought was actually pretty dope. The one thing that kind of didn't make sense was Marina Baccarin's character. She's in that pressurized tube.
What about it?
Remember, like Ajax throws her in that tube. So then, obviously, like she starts getting pressurized the same way that Wade Wilson had been when he was going through his procedure. Deadpool throws one of his swords and like it breaks open the tube, right?
Yes.
But then at the end, so then when they're all escaping and they fucking jump off that edge,
What about it?
and all this debris falls on top of it, like how the fuck did that thing not break?
The glass?
Yeah, how did the glass not break? But yeah, he threw the sword in the.
Yeah, he threw it hard as fuck. It's a fucking comic book, man.
Yeah, I mean that's just like a little nitpick, but I don't know. I mean,
There's a lot of shit like that doesn't make sense, but yeah, you kind of go with it.
We should mention T.J. Miller too. He was pretty funny.
Yeah, T.J. Miller. He didn't come out in it too much, but he was in a couple of like pretty important scenes.
Yeah, he was in it just enough, and then the blind lady too. That shit was funny.
Oh, the one with that blind lady that he was living with?
Yeah.
Overall, the film was just really well balanced, where they didn't really do too much of anything, I think. The action, like, there wasn't like a ridiculous amount of action to the point where you get tired of it. Like, the action is really well paced. Like, you get that love story in between. You get, like, a lot of fucking funny, like, crude jokes like throughout the entire film.
Yeah, and it jumps around a lot, but it all somehow manages to work. Like, you know, to find that balance, I think is really like a big credit to Tim Miller's directing. The way that they were able to balance, you know, like we said, the violence with the comedy and the love story, and it all worked really well. And I mean, really fast paced too. I mean, the movie didn't really slow down. There were like a lot of like old references.
Yeah, there were
in the movie that I don't know if a lot of people got. Like there were references to like Sinead O'Connor and like Wham and shit like that, and I'm like, I mean, I thought they were funny to me, but I just think I think like it was like a younger crowd. I think like a lot of people in the screening that I was in like didn't get a lot of the jokes.
There's a lot of jokes in there I know a lot of people didn't get, but there was some where like I'm like, damn, like it seems like these jokes were more into like an older audience.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you think about it, the movie's rated R. You're getting an older crowd to go in there.
But there were like a lot of kids in the screening we went to. Which I was kind of thinking like that, like as parents, like why the fuck would you bring your kids to this movie?
Because even Ryan Reynolds was talking shit to that one little kid, remember?
Why?
Because there was that one parent, that mom, she said that they should make her PG-13 so they can go watch the movie.
No.
And then Ryan Reynolds came out as Deadpool and he was talking shit. You don't remember that?
No, I didn't.
He was like talking shit to the mom and he told the little kid, hey, sorry, man, like you're not going to be able to see this movie because it's rated R. Like we're not making the PG-13. It's just refreshing for them to do a really good rated R superhero movie that's based off of a pretty popular character. And for them to execute it the way that they did with Ryan Reynolds, you know, being like the perfect person to play this part. I just thought it was awesome. So I give it a...
I'm from the streets, bitch.
I just really like that they just didn't abuse the R rating. Like, you know, they used it in a really fun way. I guess Ant-Man was a little more on the comedic side as well. But besides that, we really hadn't seen a comic book movie in quite some time, like Deadpool. Kind of just stepped out of the box from all the other comic book movies that are going on and just gave us something really fun and, you know, like he said, refreshing and just really entertaining. A really good start to, you know, a bunch of more comic book movies that we're going to have coming this way. So I give it.
Oh, tight, yeah. Oh, blue, yellow, pink. Whatever, man. Just keep bringing me that.
So let us know what you guys thought of Deadpool. Your pros, cons. You know, maybe some of our thoughts and reflections that we had covering the movie here. So let us know what you think down in the comments below. Hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.